doing this. Okay. Yay. I think we're live. So I'm so happy that you two are here. Morning. Hi, Lisa. So we're just starting off and I'm adding people as they come. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
So great. And everyone has their name underneath their image. So so wonderful. I'm going to wait a little Oh, there it is. I'm going to just wait a few more, like maybe 1 minute, and then I'll introduce what we're going to do. I really wanted Queen Auset to be here, so. Yeah, so this is the, I should probably figure out how to do a, wow, this is so much harder.
Don't get in the screen.
I realize.
Let's get in the screen.
Okay, then you have to go to settings.
Oh, did I do that?
I think it's gonna work out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is the deck, but there's lots of different ones, and the website is Skin Deep. And we are going to be using this deck for our conversation today. What's really cool about this is that I just read the book, The Body's Not an Apology, by Sonia Renee Taylor. I'm sorry, this is like so hard for me for some reason, going backwards. So, and it's crooked. Oh my God. I feel like my brain is not working. I can't, okay. So, this deck is made in connection with The Body's Not, these two people, these two organizations. Wow. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So that's really great. Okay, well, let's just get started. Oh, no, she's not there. So my name is Renee, and my channel is Meadowlark Mystic, and today we are having a community building in conversation, and I've invited some people, and Queen Auset have invited some people, and we've got Panda and Havana, and I think Kim is also trying, something happened with Kim's device, but hopefully more people will be coming. And I see a few people in the comments. I'm just gonna say welcome. I'm just gonna try my best. I hope there she is. Okay, so I'll add that. Hi.
Hello, I'm back.
Great. Okay, so we have some people here. Yay. So I was just I don't know where Queen Auset is, but I'm just gonna start, and hopefully she will come. So we have been in conversation, she and I, and she discovered this deck, and I've talked about it, this one. The Skin Deep is the organization, and they have a lot of conversation decks. And so what we wanted to do today is use this deck to explore our community and to allow people to hear from members of our community that maybe they might not get a chance to be in conversation with someone who has that experience. So we're just trying to open and broaden the conversations that go on. And I think these questions and these decks are really great. Yesterday when we did the test, I don't know, I think all of you were here. The questions were like in the deep end, like immediately in the deep end. Even the Amuse deck, I think the question was if you had to define what hate is and the person had no memory, how would you do that? And I was like, oh. Anyway, so it was really interesting. Oh, Lisa said, can't stay, but okay. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna read the little, this is like the introduction. No, wait. I'm going to read this. So it says on the back of the box, it says, these questions are intended to create space for meaningful conversation, an opportunity to learn through vulnerability, and most importantly, a fun way to deepen the connections in your life. Much love and joy, the Skin Deep team. Okay, so if you had this deck, it says how to play. sit a comfortable distance apart, and if you're alone, sit quietly. So obviously, we're all in different places. So just get comfortable. And then I'm going to choose, I'm probably not, it says choose 12, but I'm probably not going to choose 12 because like I said, these questions can be like really intense. And then we're all going to take 30 seconds to like just breathe and relax because they can be kind of, anyway, we're going to take turns and we're going to answer questions, but it's really important to remember the questions are going to be asked, but it does not mean you have to answer a question. There she is, yay. Hi.
Hi.
I was just explaining how to play with this deck.
Am I catching up now? Let me see.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me know if I should switch over to my phone. Okay. Have I caught up now?
I unmute all these people. Oh, wait. Wait, how do I do that? Oh, okay. You guys are all muted yourselves. They have to unmute themselves if they want to be unmuted.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So hello, welcome.
Hey, you know what? I've been sitting here. I didn't enter the studio.
Oh, you didn't enter the studio. You've been like sitting in the lobby.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, never mind. Okay. It's that kind of day. I know. Is there a delay or anything? Because I have my phone here in case I need to switch over. Okay.
It seems okay.
Okay. All right, Lay, thank you so much. No guys today?
No. It was his birthday.
No, guess not. And Ray. Oh, that's right. James Feeney. Oh,
yeah, it was his birthday.
So you guys come to him. Oh
yeah, there is a delay.
So you have no idea what this is going to be about today. Okay. There's a delay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to hear what you're saying.
Right. Let me Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to finish what I was saying is that all the questions are going to be asked, but you do not have to answer any question. They just ask that you sit with the question, I think for 10 seconds, and then you can say pass. I don't think we're going to do it like, I think we're just going to allow people who want to answer a question to be like, I'll answer that, or I want to participate. But I just want you to know no one has to answer any question if they don't want to.
Right.
This is supposed to be it's supposed to be engaging, it's supposed to be fun, but it's not supposed to feel forced.
Right. Sure.
So, yeah, the video's lagging a little bit.
Breathe.
But she's trying to fix it.
Okay.
Thanks everyone again for coming. I keep forgetting you're muted. I'm like, why is nobody saying anything?
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I think somebody else. Let me scroll down. Oh, that's her.
Is that better?
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hold on. I gotta set up a contraption. You're gonna be sideways.
Okay.
I could do all of this, but I don't know how to edit a video.
Yeah, me neither.
Honey, I don't know how to do all of that stuff. All right, I just need to get y'all situated. I got this clip light thing happening here. Okay. Right. That. Oh my God. Look, look, look. Look at that goodness.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, you're glowing.
Oh boy. I gotta tighten this nut back here. I don't know what that thing is. Go away, go away, go away. Go away, go away. Oh. All right. Okay.
Yay.
I think.
Yes, you look great. So I was actually also just telling them that this deck was created in collaboration with The Body Is Not an Apology, and that is a book that I just read, and I just realized that when I was getting the deck out and looked at the back of the box. So
nice.
That's an interesting coincidence.
Yes. Yes. Because it says so. Good.
Yeah,
and your healing deck still hasn't arrived?
No, it didn't come. It was supposed to come yesterday, but I think the post office is starting to get really busy.
Okay.
So we'll have to use yours for the kind of more, anyway, you know what I mean.
Sure. Well, okay. So where I was before trying to get this all set up is that you guys had a preview of what this was about yesterday. You saw us do this impromptu sort of thing, kind of like Hollywood Squares. What was that other show that Wayne Brady, like What's My Line sort of thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you're just gonna, I feel like I need stronger reading glasses, because like, damn. Okay. So we kind of want to keep it that way. And as Renee has said, you know, if a question is posed, you know, you could raise your hand, I guess, and answer it. You know, it's so few of us on here. Raise your hand and answer it if you want to. Or I don't know how you guys want to do it, but I would like all of us to engage and interact. That's the whole thing. This is not about sitting silent. Okay. I thought you said Emmett was going to be here.
I think Emmett had to work, but Emmett was in the comments and just said, you know, I'm giving you guys support.
Okay. All right. So, how I came across this, I guess whenever you're ready, Renee, we can go live on YouTube, unless we're live.
We are live. Yeah. Sorry, we're live.
You mean all of the stuff that I was doing is on YouTube? Renee! Oh, for Pete's sake!
It's realistic.
Sorry, I just went live when I was supposed to go live. It said live, go now, and I was like, okay, now. I'm sorry.
It's a good thing I was not here all together. Like, seriously, come on. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, so I guess Renee, you have the laptop. I don't know if anyone else can see like the comments, because I'm not going to be able to see the comments or anything like that.
I can see them.
I'm on my phone. Right? You can see the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how I came across this deck, I don't know. It's just one of those things that came across my feed, and I went to the YouTube channel and just fell in love with the dynamics of the conversations. And like I said yesterday, you can have a friend, someone you call a best friend for 10, 20, 30 years, and ask these questions and then be surprised by the answers because you think, oh, I know them. I know what's going on already. Anyway, so there are different. The first deck that I introduced Renee and Tom and Kasha to was the racism deck because this is the newest deck that they created. And of course, this is the time that we're living in, right? And the only way to talk about these things or solve these things to actually have a conversation, right? And as I said to Renee, we could read all the books and the reports and listen to a gazillion YouTube videos, but until you actually have a real honest dialogue and exchange, I don't think that we could ever come to a place where we reach any solutions. So we all know that the topic of racism is difficult, pretty much for all of us, right? No matter what side you're on, what end you're on, it's just a difficult subject. So that is why I had said I'm going to get the healing deck as well, right? Because if we're going to deal with the difficult stuff, then maybe we can get some answers to bring us towards healing. And that's one of the things that I had talked about in the first summit, because I know a lot of people have made comments in the summit, like, I don't see how this is going to bring healing, and I don't see how this is going to solve anything. Well, like I told Renee, doing that summit, my only purpose was to have people engage. I know that, we're talking about something that's been going on for eons, long before I was even born. 1 2 hour summit is not going to bring a solution like that. Okay. The solutions are going to come from everybody doing their part, whatever that means. So, along with healing, healing doesn't have to be deep and bad and intense. I also got the amusing deck. Supposed to have some humor in there as well. And because we really don't know each other, but we know something of each other, I got the strangers deck,
That's good.
right? And eventually at some point hopefully we'll go from the point or the place of strangers to being friends.
Yeah.
So I got the friends deck. Okay. And so yesterday I was telling you about one of my tarotistas. I'm doing a lot of talking here, and then I'm going to. I pulled a card. I pulled 2 cards for her actually. One was, "How did you know that you could trust me?"
Mm-hmm.
And she remembered an incident that she asked me to help her through. I totally forgot about it until she brought it up. And another one was, I don't know if I have it. I had asked her. The question was posed to me, like, what has she taught me in the friendship? What has she brought to me? And it was, she taught me how to slow down, but I can only do that when I'm with her, right? She's my friend. Like if I'm going on a road trip, if I want a road trip, she's my ride or die. She's got the Lexus with the heated seats and all of that good stuff. So I allow her, right, to do that. And I'm going to tell you, she has her own speed. And when someone else is in the driver's seat, you don't have any other choice but to surrender to their speed. And one of our first trips, we were going to a belly dance event in Ocean City, and we left about 1:30 in the afternoon. So we should have reached Ocean City at least by 4 o'clock. It was 11:30 midnight when we finally reached Ocean City. We stopped at this store, that store to shop and return stuff. We stopped at this place to eat. She introduced me to a new dive to eat at that became part of my ritual driving down Ocean City. The route that we take was part of the Underground Railroad, so it was spiritually intense for me. I was seeing, and I said that in quotation marks, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at that! Oh my goodness, do you see that?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? I don't see that." So I was having paranormal experiences in that. And then we spent 3 or 4 days down in Ocean City. And one of the things that we did, part of our ritual, everyone checks out on Sunday. We decided to stay until Monday so we could pay a visit to the beach. And the beach in March is always cold, but it's just fabulous going there for that healing. So that I never realized what she brought into my life until I pulled that card and had to articulate it, right? So I'm not saying, well, let's just do this, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Let's start with the strangers deck, right?
Okay.
Because for the most part, we're all strangers. And I said I was going to have something to shuffle with. I'm just going to go through. Okay, folks, this is not a deck walkthrough, but the box is a two-part box, blah, blah, blah. this is how the deck is, okay? And you guys know that I'm not hard up on cardstock, so cardstock is going to be, right? Cards about the size of a playing card, but there's a lot of questions in here.
A lot.
Okay, so I am going to attempt to shuffle this big mama of a deck. I'm doing it right here. You guys can see it. And then I'll split it and choose a card, and let's see what I get. Okay. What do you think I want most from life?
What do you think? What?
I
Oh,
want. Can you see it?
want most. Move it over a little.
Over this way?
Other way. Other way. Oh, there. Okay. I'm just writing it in the comments.
Oh, in the comments. Right. What
Okay.
do you think I want most from life? Who wants to answer that? No one?
Are we answering it for
Yes.
you
You're
or
answering it for me, and then we're going to reverse it because I'm going to answer it for you.
I would say happiness and healing.
That's what you think I want most from life, Panda? Okay. So for you, Panda Bennett, what I think you want most from life is the same thing: peace of mind, a safe world for your children. Okay. I
Yes.
also feel you want most from life is the freedom to be more than you are right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
if I was answering that question, I would say I think that you want satisfaction and new experiences to enrich your experiences in life.
Okay. And Havana, I would say for you that you want to express yourself even more boldly than you are right now. And you want to be heard, and you want to be seen, and you want to be recognized. That's what I feel you want right now from life. Anybody else? Oh, all right, Kim.
I'll go. Okay. I think you want endless heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul connections with the people you encounter from now until your last breath.
Okay. Kim, what do I think you want from me? I've watched you. I've watched your journey. And I've actually watched your journey take a different turn over the past few months as well. I think you want more adventure. I think you want to discover things that you thought you knew about, but you didn't know about. That's what I'm getting a feeling.
For sure.
All right. All right. Here's a question.
What's the greatest thing a member of your family did? What is the greatest? Oops. I can't really see it the way you're holding it. What is the greatest?
Okay. Yeah, listen to me.
Okay.
What is the greatest thing a member of your family did that surprised you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the greatest
Then
thing?
you answer it. You answer it, Renee.
Okay. The greatest thing. I'm getting stuck on the word great. I've learned some things about my family that really kind of blew my mind, but great. I don't know if I would. Great. The greatest thing. um. When I learned that my, my paternal grandmother's family, when they came here from Germany, it wasn't because they were interested I found out that they were fleeing from someone and they separated when they came. And so my great grandfather came first, and then his wife and children came after. But when she got here, she didn't speak English, and she sat outside of Ellis Island with her suitcase for 4 days, waiting for him to come. And when I reflected on that, I couldn't, it was just so hard to understand how someone could have so much faith that you'd get on a boat, you'd go over, and your husband, would meet you there. There's no phones, there was no letters, there was nothing. He didn't have an address. And so when I learned that, I was stunned. Anyone else want to answer?
Well, that's really beautiful. Like, just thinking about traveling with no cell phone and no plans like that. That's really huge when you think about it. My thing would be my son, that he just turned 11, but he would come home and how kids tell stories to you, and he would be like, "Mom, there's this kid in my class, he doesn't talk." And he brought it up a couple times, and I feel like I'm always busy, and so I'm like, okay, that's not everyone's like you. Maybe he's shy. Don't, just make sure you're not talking over top of him. And he mentioned it a couple times, and I said, well, just be nice to him, and maybe he'll open up and start to talk to you. And then we went to the parent teacher conferences, and the teacher, she told us that there is a child in the class that is handicapped, and he's nonverbal, and that my son always sticks up for him and is very protective of him. And then they travel for field trips and stuff, that my son rides with him in his vehicle to be with him. And you know, I was just like, I just assumed that my kid was just, you know, he's really talkative, really chatty. And so I just assumed that he was, you know, being loud. And I don't know, that just, I even think about that sometimes when I'm doing stuff because I want my kids to be happy and I just want them to be kind people. And so that just, I don't know, it just really did something to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a testament to how you raised him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Ready for the next question?
Yep.
What's not healthy about your relationship with money?
Say it one more time. What's
What's not healthy
okay? Not healthy.
about your relationship with money?
As I look around at my tarot decks.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's why I laughed. I was like, huh. Well, you know, pretty much all of us sitting here right now. Ooh, what's not healthy? I yeah, I spend it. I spend it all. Like I make it, and as it comes in, it just goes out, right? So I have a little bit of savings and all of that, but I could have so much more, right? And I try to, and that could be part of it as well, because for many years I didn't have. I'm telling you, for many years. And it's probably with only in the past 5 years that I've had disposable income to this level where I can just buy whatever I want and not be concerned. I don't have credit card bills, my car is paid off. You know, I rent a 2-bedroom apartment. I work 10 minutes from where I live. You know, I think I put gas in my car maybe once a month now, right? So my relationship with money has changed, but you only have but so much room to put all your stuff, right? And I could be a borderline hoarder because I like a lot. I like a lot, like shoes, jewelry, fabric, books, tarot decks. Like I look, my son already said that when I transition, he's throwing everything away anyway. So
Mm.
I might as well enjoy it all now.
Enjoy it all now.
You can't really
Exactly.
take it with you.
Yeah. But
I'll
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I am downsizing a 4-bedroom house, and I'm staring at everything that I have filled every corner of this house, and it's like I can see the dollar signs of what I paid, and now what I'm going to have to in order to let it go, how low I'm going to have to the offer I'm going to have to take, and it's just all of this stuff that I've accumulated in my garage, in every corner of this space. It just now feels like weights, including the decks at some, like not all my decks. I love my decks. But even now where we're wanting to be nimble and quick and be able to move and go abroad for a while, everything just feels like weights. And I'm sad because all this money I've spent, I could have amassed a small fortune. So I'm staring right now face to face with my spending habits right now. Beyond the depth here I'm doing for the tarot decks, it's everything. And it's a little unsettling at times. So yeah, that was unhealthy. Spending everything to decorate, for I'm gonna be here forever. And that's not the case. So yeah.
I don't mind answering it, that question. So for me, I think what's unhealthy about my relationship with money is how it is attached to my mental health. For me, it's not so much the physical possession or collection of um, things. When I had a house fire a couple of years ago, it put a lot of things in perspective for me. And I thought to myself, if I lost it all today, which I was really close to doing, I was satisfied with the fact that I had things around me and surrounding me that made me happy. But it's connected to the fact that when I don't have money, it makes me feel depressed. And it's kind of a cycle. So I feel depressed. I buy things to make me happy, and I'm spending my money on the things to make me happy. And if I wasn't spending my money on those things, I would have more money, so I might be happy. But it's tied a little too much for me to my mental health and that my perception of self-worth.
Mm. Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. Like 10,000%. Like I don't know who gave me that like money is directly related to your self-worth, or like how, well, I guess the media, like you see it on TV, you know, everything from the time you're young, it's like money is tied to everything. It's the foundation of everything. And so that's what's unhealthy for me that I've been working really hard on, is that like money will not bring me happiness, and that it does not make me a better person. And like I can be poor and I can be happy and I can be a good person no matter what's in my bank account. And so just really trying to like, it's almost like rewiring, like after, you know what I mean? And even now, like when I watch the Kardashians, I'm like, oh man, like, you know, I gotta like, it's, you have to work at it. You have to work at just like being happy outside and being happy with your kids and your dirty dishes. And you know what I mean? Like it's hard.
It really is.
I know. I know a few weeks ago, the fire alarm in my apartment building went off about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, we as collectors, we always talk about what would you take? What would you grab in case of a fire? You know what I grabbed? My cell phone, my wallet, and made sure my son was out the door. And it was raining. And we stood outside for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, there was no smoke, there was no fire. And I came back to my apartment and grabbed a photo of my son and I. I didn't think about one deck, not one. And that was probably about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And since then, I have been like, you know, I need to move some of this stuff along. I really do. I'm not that attached to it anymore, you know? I'm not that attached to it anymore. So, you know, it's kind of like that balance, because what are we known for doing on our channels? You know, walkthroughs, or, you know, what am I going to do? Right? You know, I guess it's about finding that right balance. And maybe in 2021, I will. I'm not going to deny myself something, but I think I do want to be a bit more aware of what I have and what I'm doing. And there's so much more that we have on our shelves that we're not doing a whole lot with. So, okay. All right. I
That was a good one.
am, I'm sorry, darling.
I said that was a good one. That was a good question.
Yes, right? Okay, so last one from the Strangers deck. What do you think my first impression of you was?
Everyone got quiet.
All right, I'll go. I'll go for each of you then. All right.
Okay,
So
wow, you're taking, okay.
all right. No. Well, what do you think my first impression of you was? I don't know. You have to tell me. I think, how do we address this question? What do you
It's
think
tricky.
my Huh?
I think it's tricky because I always feel uncomfortable when they ask me to put myself in your shoes and then tell
But that,
you what I think you're thinking.
okay,
Like
all
that
right.
makes me uncomfortable.
Which is perfect. Which is perfect because you can't get to that place. You can't get to this.
Right. Without being uncomfortable.
Right. Right. Okay. You see how it all ties in?
Okay, I'll go because you talked yesterday. I think that, oh shoot, I was supposed to write it in the chat. Sorry, what was the question again?
What do you think my first impression of you was?
Okay, so I'm gonna go because I don't know. I'm just gonna go. I think that you thought I was cheerful and friendly.
Is that a question or a statement?
It's a statement. Cheerful and friendly, like a bell, like the little bell that we talked about yesterday.
Yes. I did. I did think that you were. I think that you still are cheerful and friendly. My first impression of you was that, oh, can we all just get along? I don't want to be involved in the drama. I want to keep everything light. But um, I learned about your depth when you did that. I keep going back to it, that spread where you talk about the 10 of Cups. It was that thon. There was a thon that you were part of. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Tower and the 10 of Cups video I did.
Yes. Yes. Right. So anything involving the tower, I'm going to listen. And then when I heard you speak and explain that, I was like, oh, she's a little bit more than just Little Miss Sunshine. Like, she will burn you behind. Like, wait a minute. I need to pay attention to this person right here. So, yes. Okay. Anybody else want me to get?
I can go.
Okay.
I think your first, what was the question? The first
Yeah.
impression
Of you.
I think that your first impression of me was that I have some potential, but I can be a little naive.
Yes. My first impression of you was that you were kind of like me, wanting to be part of this tubiverse where there's so few of us. And I think the first time I saw your name come up was during one of Kelly Fitzgerald's live chats. And at that time, you know, you can click on a person's name and go to their page, their site or whatever. And that's what I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's someone who looks like me, who's doing this like me. Like, yes. Okay. Anybody else? No?
So I feel like I met everyone kind of on the panel, or that's the first time anyone even heard me speak. And so I hold this terrible anxiety that everyone just feels like I'm an idiot, because I was really like going through it at that time. And so I was so passionate, and I just couldn't even articulate what needed to be said to even sound intelligent or like really communicate with people. And then I also cried. I'm like, yeah. So I just felt like that was a really embarrassing first gate, like out of the gate.
Okay. No, that was not my first impression of you, Panda Bennett. That was not. My first impression of you was like, this is a fierce, fabulous female right here. Like, who is this person? How come I've never heard of her before? Like, what is she doing? I'm curious because she's doing the woo, like she's doing something different than me, and she's fully immersed in it. So that's why I was, I became, what is it? I'm not gonna say a troll to your page and such, your website, your YouTube, but a what? A groupie?
Intrigued.
Well, yeah, a follower. I wanted to know, like, who is this person? What is she doing? How can I support her? What can I do? So that was my first impression of you. Okay. All right. One last question. How did you experience true love? How, or rather, when?
Oh,
I'm sorry. When did you experience true love? I know exactly when I experienced true love. August 9th, 1992 at 9:32 p.m.
was that when your son was born?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. I had 3 miscarriages prior, late term carriages.
Oh.
So, yep. Anybody else?
Thank you for sharing that with us. I have people in my family that have just gone through that situation, and my family was like kind of arguing back and forth about like, oh, it's so inappropriate that they said something out loud. And I was like, no, like people should talk about this, and it's okay to acknowledge your pain. And women, there's nothing wrong with their bodies. Like there's nothing, they're not at fault. They're not defective, and it's okay to let other people hold space for you when you go through those type of things. And so we just had like this huge back and forth like within our family. But yeah, thank you for sharing that with us, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're welcome. And I'm fine. I'm healed from it, And the healing didn't come because I have my son. The healing came because I understood that everything happens when it should,
Yeah.
and that's my belief. For me, my son came to me at the right time in my life, to make an impact to where I am today. So, anyone else want to answer that question? When did
Sure,
you
I'll
first
go.
experience love? Okay.
Okay, so for sure my children, obviously,
Mhm.
but I'll say the romantic love. I think I was a late bloomer, even though I had 2 boys who are now adults with their father. I don't think I really felt love because we were so young when we got together. I had my first child right before I turned 18, and he's 22 now. And then I have an 18-year-old. But then romantic love finally came when I was 26, and when I reconnected with a long time friend who I knew from 92 when I was 12 years old. And we had been friends for a very long time. And so we reconnected in 2006. And we talked about everything because we grew up together. We went to middle school or junior high and high school. We knew all the same people. We talked the same lingo. We were from the same, town. And we talked. He came up and visited me one night, and we talked the whole night through until dawn. And just then and there, I just knew. I was like, oh no, I love him. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to share that anytime soon. But I knew. And and we're together today. So we got married and we have a daughter. But yeah, I would say that's first time. September-ish, September 20th, 2006.
Wow. You were 12 in 1992?
I was. Yes, I don't know what that's. Yeah.
I am old.
No, I am old by some, by some standards. So yeah.
No. Whoa. Wow. 12. Oh, okay. Mhm. I was 12 in the 70s. Okay.
Really? Oh,
I
to
wanted
be
to
12
share
in the
something about
70s, though. Oh,
I'm sorry?
I said I wanted to share something about, I don't know exactly when, but as I look back over my life, it was actually my relationship with my mother-in-law, who, not romantic love, but unconditional love. So she was the first person that ever demonstrated to me what unconditional love looked like. There were no, when I first, was invited and embraced into my husband's family, I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was always waiting for them to say, okay, and now we expect you to do this, this, and this. This is what we expect of you. And I kept waiting, and years rolled by, and it dawned on me that there was no other shoe. They didn't have an agenda. They didn't expect me to be anything except myself and, love their son. But it was through that relationship with her that I really, really profoundly experienced unconditional love. It changed me. It really changed me.
Okay. All right, strangers. What is something about you that you think would surprise me? Anyone want to share? What is something about you that you think would surprise me? Keep in mind, I'm not easily surprised.
Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it?
At least for me.
What is something about you that you think is surprising?
That's a tough one because I think as we mature, we learn to be willing to learn new things about people and not be surprised. So that's a tough one to answer.
In another life, I was a football playing roller derby, like full contact kind of person.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Gosh, I'm pretty basic. There's not a lot to me.
Not a lot.
Yeah, it's hard to surprise. Like, I don't know. I mean, I took a couple of summers of belly dancing classes. But again, that probably doesn't surprise you. We kind of have similar hobbies.
Actually, I know. Actually, that does surprise me, Kim, because you're similar, but you're more conservative. You're like my you're like my middle sister. She's very, very, very conservative. Like, And when I watch you sometimes, that's why I said I've watched your journey. Like I've watched you take your journey, take another direction. Yeah, there have been times when I'm like, Kim, she's been kind of like, serious sometimes, and like, we should loosen up a little bit. And
Hey.
yeah, I know.
My husband appreciates hearing that.
I mean, like, if you go back
He
and watch
thinks
some of your earlier
he thinks
videos,
I'm conservative, and I'm like, me conservative? I have my
yes,
ways. You don't work for
yeah.
insurance
If you go
companies
back,
for 20 years. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
You go back
funny.
and watch some of your earlier videos, especially when you do like the monthly draws, like everything is so set up in a certain way, everything is real
That's funny.
serious. Like, I'm like, whew, I'm just slinging cards. She's got a card decks are matching, tablecloth is set right, the stuff on top of the table is set. I'm like, I just want to make sure, like, what's not in view? What's not in view so I can record this? Okay. You see?
Funny. Oh my goodness. Somebody had to do my chart and explain why. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I can't. I'm trying to move, and that's all out the window. Y'all will see that in a minute with the videos.
Right.
So
Yeah.
or the lack thereof.
Right? Oh
So,
gosh.
yeah. Wow. Okay. That's pretty on point. Okay. And I surprised you. I belly danced for a little bit.
Yes, that, like I said, I didn't know that because I'm a belly dancer, but I was like, no, that's not Kim's thing. She's more like soft rock, easy rock, and I'm reggae,
True.
roots music,
No,
all of
I'm
that,
reggae too.
Okay, see?
But I do like a little soft rock.
See?
I like it all.
I'm the one that would grab. I'm the one that would grab the youngest, finest thing in the room to dance with, and Kim would be the one to give the side eye, like, girl, does he have a brother?
Oh, I'm loving this.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. No one else has anything surprising. Let's see. I don't know.
I feel like Renee has surprising things that she's holding back from us.
Renee probably does. You see?
Yep.
Renee,
What?
you don't have anything surprising? No? Yeah.
I have. Well, I'm sure my kids would tell you guys an earful of, I'm not so cheerful and sunshiny with them. They probably would use those adjectives when they describe me. I have a temper. Like, I don't throw stuff, but I get pretty annoyed, and I have a pretty mean stare. I've been told by my kids, but if you were to just meet me, you probably wouldn't think that.
You get issued that stare when you have children. It's like part of your starter pack.
Absolutely necessary.
Along with the hearing.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Along with the mommy hearing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. My kids actually really, for a long time, thought I had eyes in the back of my head. And it wasn't like a joke. They really thought that if they peeked back there, they would find another pair of eyes. But it's really the hearing. You don't have to see what they're doing if you can hear. You just can put it all together. Set that down, shut that cupboard, and get out of the kitchen.
Okay, so now I'm pulling cards from the friends pack.
Okay.
Right? And 3 cards fell out. So I'm going to do a Kim. She takes jumpers. So I'm going to take some jumpers. Right? Woo. Oh, actually, it's more than 3. Okay. Describe the moment you felt most alive.
Every time after I have a surgery, in that first week after, where you like, oh my God, like, I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm alive. I think I'm not near death. I'd say that. Or after like a flu or something like that, where you're just like, oh, I was
Really?
near the end right there. I'm back. I feel alive. I can breathe. I can like that. I know that's not what y'all think, but because I'm in a special Four of Swords kind of place right now, this is the first time I'm feeling alive. So that's where I'm at.
I really
Okay.
feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Anyone else? Describe the moment you felt most alive. You know what it was for me? When we did Badass Summit a few months ago. That's when I felt like, seriously, right? There were 22 of us on that freaking panel. That's when I was like, oh, yes, like, damn, like, we did that thing.
I love that.
Right. That was like such a tingly feeling for days afterwards, you know? And that's going down in freaking history. Who else has done that? We did that in spite of any glitches, you know, any naysayers. We did that. You know, it was like feeling, this is what I talk about, using your voice when you finally feel heard. That's, for me, that was when I felt the most alive. I've had several moments in my life, but that's a fairly recent experience for me. Anyone else?
I think the first time I felt the most alive was when I first moved out on my own. I was independent and I didn't have to live by anybody else's rules. It took a long time for me to realize that I set the rules for myself, and if I wanted to smoke an apple bong in my apartment, that's fine. I didn't have to ask or feel like I was hiding it from anybody because it was my apartment. I could do what I want to do. I think that was the first time I really felt alive.
Wow. Okay.
I'm loving
Anybody
the
else?
comments too. What some of the comments.
Oh, can we hear
saying,
some of the comments? Because I can't see
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Tammy
Okay.
Pye said, yeah, post-radiation treatment, it's pretty gnarly, but then you finish and you really want to live.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I could imagine that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Next question. Describe the moment you nearly died.
I can answer that, but it might be triggering for some people.
Okay.
I have bipolar depression, and there's a couple of times I've almost died. It was at the lowest points in my life. And the last time I was really, really, really close to it. And I took control of getting the help that I needed rather than expecting someone else to help me. I took control of my own health and healing at that point, and I'm still working through it every day.
Okay. That's all you can do, one day at a time, right? And each day becomes a testament to you moving towards victory.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. To go back to one of the previous questions, something about me that may surprise you guys. 2 years ago, I was in therapy. I suffer from fibromyalgia, and for a year, the VA wanted me to see someone. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with my head. I'm in physical pain. I need to see doctors. And one of their caveats was that I go for therapy in order to get treatment in the pain clinic, in order for me to get what I want. And, coming from Caribbean culture, Caribbean family, coming from a Black family, therapy is not something that is greatly supported. And I have a sibling who, for many years, was going to therapy. And I'm going to put it out there, we made fun of it. Like, only white people do that. Like, we don't have time to go to therapy. We don't have time to sit down. Your problems are your problems. You deal with it, blah, 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 and all of that. Why would you talk to a stranger about your problems and your issues? So 2 years ago, 2018, November 2018, I walked into this office and it was a young African-American woman. So right away, I'm defensive because A, you're not going to know me and understand my culture, and B, you're younger than I am. Okay. But let me tell you, sister girl, she helped me reconnect to me, right? She helped me fully embrace and embody what I'm supposed to be. I was going through a lot at my job where, I always felt like I had to, like it was my responsibility to walk behind people and clean up after them. And then I would be resentful of having to do that, right? And so one thing would lead to another because I knew that when I got to work, I was basically have to do housekeeping. Then I was going to work late because who rushes to work to do freaking housekeeping? So it'd just be one thing after another, right? So um, I was also given medication. I'm allergic to everything, everything. They tried everything, and I am that 1 in 1,000 that will experience the symptoms, and I did. So the therapy per se didn't help me with the fibromyalgia because I've always been maintaining myself in this place of pain for decades anyway. But like I said, the therapy was very empowering. And this was a woman who was, when I devoutly church and yet metaphysical at the same time. Like, she could quote scripture, but she knew how to break it down metaphysically for you. Like, oh my, like, she was an angel sent to me at that time. So that is something, people look at me like, oh, you're a strong woman, you're a warrior. And you wouldn't think that I have gone and I sat on a couch every week. And first, I was like, okay, so I could do this twice a month. And she said, oh, no, you need to come once a week. No, twice a week. And I was like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? And I'm going to tell you, after a few weeks, I started looking forward to going. Why? Because that was my me time, right? That was I'm a reader. Just before we came on, I did readings. I am there for everybody else. And that's one of the things that I say for me as a reader, like, who do I get to talk to? Who gets to listen to me? So she taught me, cognitive therapy, the ABCs and all of that, charts and pamphlets and booklets. I read so many books. I really delved into me and like how I can take what I learned from her to actually even help when I engage other people, like learning about them and such. She taught me how to turn a blind eye, redirect my energy from the pile of crap that's sitting there. When I started to see her, see, I'm divulging this. I had laundry piled up, I'm going to say for 6 to 8 months. Laundry that I had done from the year before that I had not put away, right? And every week I would say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And she told me I was diagnosed as mildly depressed, right? And that's why I needed the medication. And I admit, I took what was it? I don't even remember. It helped me get and stay more focused. But one of the things she taught me was it was okay to give myself permission to deal with the laundry for 1 hour and then leave it. It's okay. It's your laundry. You don't have to put it away. Right? So she helped me break down and break through a lot of things that I grew up with. Get through all of that. I'm telling you, we finished up March of this year. You know, we had online things. So I started out twice a week, and then we tapered down to once a week. And I was starting to feel it like, whew, she said, if you ever need to speak to me, and I never was in a place where I needed to speak to her, like I wasn't having an episode, I guess, or anything like that. It was just like, that's my me time. Like I get to sit with this person for an hour and she just listen to me. If I want to talk, fine. If I don't want to, fine. You know, so that. So there you know, whoever's listening and playback, yeah. Queen Auset went to therapy. So if you think that you're better than going to therapy, trust, know, and understand. It's great that we could throw these cards and we could do this self-analyzing. Seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with it. All right? It does not have to be a part of your life permanently, but it can help you, you know? And I know now where we are limited, there are online therapists. Seek that, okay? Everyone needs someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay? All right.
And I had such like a preconceived notion, like this is so weird, but do you guys remember the commercial for the depression medication that was like the round egg or like sad bouncing ball that had like the rain cloud that followed him? That sticks with me. And so finally, a few years ago, when I went to the doctor, they were like, well, we need to go over this chart for your depression. And I said, oh, no, I'm not depressed. Like, I'm not crying. I'm not sad. I don't ever cry. I just can't do my dishes or my laundry or change my clothes or shower or leave my house. But I'm not depressed.
Exactly.
And the doctor was like, okay, no, yeah, you're depressed, girl. But I just had that like commercial in my head of like that crying sad person, and I was like, well, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm definitely not depressed. Like yeah, you know? But yeah, I just and it helps so much, like finally reaching out, you know what I mean? But I just had this preconceived set notion, and then I also was like, well, not me. Like that's on TV, but it's not me.
Not me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's a simple things like, you know, you function, right? But like you said, you know, and there would be times when I did not get out of bed. There were times I didn't want to get out of bed, you know, and now with these handheld contraptions, you don't even have to move, like unless Mother Nature calls, you don't have to move, you know?
It's so important that that's why that's why I'm pretty open about it. Like for me, it was never an issue of I don't have depression. I've had this since I was a kid. There's a lot of issues in my life that trigger it, but for me, it's a biological aspect to who I am. It's going to be a part of me for the rest of my life. And like you were saying, therapy is great. It gives you tools to cope. It helps you recognize triggers. And now that I have those tools in my life, I know when I'm close to having an episode, but it's an issue that's stigmatized in so many communities, and it really does affect people in ways they don't expect it to. And I used to be so against taking medication because I used to think I can do this. I can do this on my own. I used to tell people that or I told my psychiatrist that it was a chemical lobotomy. And I felt like, why should I have to take medication to make me more manageable for society? And this year is the first time that I've actually stuck with a medication routine. And it's not perfect, but it's a whole lot better than it would have been without the medication. So it's another tool, and there's so many layers and dynamics to mental health that I feel people unnecessarily put themselves through trauma because of stigmatization and society not really giving it the opportunity it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. Do we have any comments?
Candy said, gosh, yes, after Tilly was diagnosed, I did the same thing, sat in front of doctors and said I couldn't function, but wasn't depressed. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Candy.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then Cleo76, this was a little while ago, said, leaving the religion I was born and raised in, despite being shunned, it was the first time I could be my authentic self. I think they were referencing when they felt alive, they really felt like activated.
Exactly. Okay. Name my top 3 pet peeves. Let's see how well we know each other. Name my 3.
Let's see.
I know. Wow.
Oh,
I would say goddess decks that aren't researched.
Just goddess decks?
decks, just decks in general.
Yes.
Ill-researched decks.
Yeah, maybe flagrant stupidity.
I think, stupidity. I second that.
Flagrant, though. Like,
flagrant stupidity.
So that was a good one, though, about the goddess decks, for sure. I know now I'm like, ooh, can't get this one. I said school on that one.
Misrepresentation. Yep.
That's it. I really, my top 3 pet peeves. Well, yeah. In real life, I'm going to tell you my top 3 pet peeves are. Abject laziness.
Ooh, that's a good one.
If you're standing around with your hands in your pockets and I'm doing
abject laziness, hands in the pockets like this. Yeah.
Let me see.
That's a good one. I like that.
Another pet peeve of mine. Not putting things back where you got them from.
Retail employees will understand.
Can you tell? Like, yeah. And this is like, seriously? Oh my gosh. Okay. And you know what another pet peeve of mine is? And this is across the board. So please be kind to your retail employees. We are human. When you cross the threshold into where I work, I'm a human. I'm providing a service to you. So when you come in with your funky attitude and your sense of entitlement and think that I'm going to do step and fetch for you, you get nothing from me. I'm sorry. I'm that person. Like, I'm working on my customer service skills. Thank God I have other skills to compensate for that, because my customer service skills, you get what you give to me. I'm just one of those people, right? Like, you're not going to be rude to me. That is a pet peeve of mine. Now, you know, a lot of times, you know, we say that we tend to encounter people who mirror us as well. And there have been times, I'm not going to say that I'm rude, but I'm one of those people, I need you to land the plane already. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh yes. Okay. Anyone else want to name their pet peeves? Because I can't name your pet peeves. I might have an idea. Let me see. Renee's pet peeves. I think that one of your pet peeves I know is something about you don't like shallowness. Even though you're Miss Sunshine, you don't like shallowness. You don't deal with that well. Another pet peeve of yours could be, well, rudeness as well. I don't know. Give me a third, Renee.
I can't
Tell me.
stand when people are late all the time. Drives me bananas.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta make an entrance.
And then you were in the lobby, so that is not about you. I'm talking like, you know, when your friends say, let's meet at this restaurant, and then you get there, and they're like 15 minutes they roll up.
15 minutes?
Yeah, that just, I mean, for some people, 15 minutes is nothing. For me, I feel like my head is going to explode.
Oh,
Okay. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Oh.
I will always send you a message and let you know that I'm running late.
That's right, you do.
Okay. I'm sorry. Ooh, okay. Anyone else want to share their pet peeves?
I'll go.
Okay.
I think a couple of mine are pretty obvious. But only 3, man. My number one pet peeve is entitlement. It's really, I cannot stand it. I also really have a problem with people who are willfully ignorant. When people have the opportunity to know better and they choose to be blind to that fact. And I also have a problem with mediocrity. And by that, I mean, I'm in a position a lot of the times. People are always asking me for information or how did you do that? Or how do you know that? I'm like, I researched it. I found it out for myself. Why can't you do this? If I wasn't here, what would your option be? So that's a pet peeve for me. I'm okay with helping people, but you know, give a man a fish, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rachel in the comments said, right, rudeness and entitlement are the worst.
True.
Oh, and then Azrael Fresnedo, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, said when people over-explain for a yes or no question. So
I agree
they
on that
really,
one.
that's one of their pet peeves. Oh, and then Candy said, untruthful people telling me to not speak will send me into the stratosphere.
That's a good one.
Mm.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
Oh, and another one of my pet peeves that really sends me through the roof is when someone tries to make another person look stupid or, you know, they talk down to them.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that just.
I was going to say the same thing. I have a experience in the medical field. I used to be a scrub tech for 6 years, which means I had to know a little bit about everything. I spent as much time learning anatomy as some doctors do. I understand tests and results and surgeries and whatnot. I went to a doctor one time and asked her about results of a test, and then I asked her what her follow-up would be to that test, and she says, "Oh, did you read that on WebMD?" I'm like,
Mm,
your degree
Wow.
doesn't make you better than me.
yeah. Ugh,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's terrible.
That was rude.
Doctors can be
Okay.
really bad with that.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, honey. They are bad. And then when you deal with the VA doctors, they're even worse. They don't even think that we're human. Us
Yeah.
GIs, they don't.
And then the
Okay.
older you get, there's ageism on top of that. So
Mhm.
I've had to deal with doctors more because, you know, we have more elderly in our family. It's as though after you get over a certain age, they're just like, yeah, you're not really that important to us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Okay. I got some fun questions. I went through the deck.
You've been thinking with those questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uh-huh. Here's one. What can I help you with right now?
Hmm.
Well, you've already been helping me, but yesterday when you said, I think Renee is learning to trust, I mean, you hit the nail on the head so hard with that you are helping me to trust. Yeah.
And I'll say that you're helping me to realize it's okay to slow down. You don't have to be on this crazy schedule, have to have everything perfect and like so. Take it easy, take it easy. So I think you continuously, Queen Auset, teach me that. Yeah.
Aw,
So
thank
thank
you.
you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm supposed to write that in the thing. What
Can I help you with
Oh.
right now?
I love that.
Oh, wait, Queen Auset, what can I help you with right now?
I would
Good question.
You're here. You're doing this. Engaging. Right? And as long as we are communicating and engaging each other, it keeps me hopeful. You know, 5 strangers come together to do this. Several months ago, we came together to do something else. You know, that's what can you help me with right now? Is just for us to keep doing this. Right? Keep this in your mind. Talk about it, share it, implement it. That's what you can do for me right now. Don't let it die.
Mm.
You know, the fervor of what we went through earlier this year, a few months ago, leading up to the election, the fervor has died down,
Mm.
right? But the issues are still there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can do. And many of you, I mean, Kim was 12 in 1992. So, whew,
For me, it feels a world away.
okay. Wow. Let me see. Anything for you, Havana, that I can help you with right now?
well, like Renee was saying, you've already helped me with a lot of things. You offer me an outlet to talk about things where sometimes I feel like I can't speak with my peers because they don't understand. And you challenge me on things that I may not be aware of. You teach me things that I don't know. So, yeah, that continuing that. How can I help
Panda,
you? Oh,
how can you help me?
yeah.
Havana,
Hmm.
step up and show out. That's how you can help me right now. Like, don't be reserved. Don't be reserved in your passions and your feelings and your voice. Because at the end of the day, who do you live with?
My family.
But yourself.
I live with myself. That's true.
Right. And all of this, it's real, but it's not real. It's what you make it. You are not limited by anyone else's opinions, thoughts, or whatever. Your channel is Sparkle Divine. That's what you need to do. I need you to freaking sparkle.
Mm.
We love your
Okay?
sparkle.
Mhm.
I can
I
work
need
on
you to
that.
bring it. I
I
need
can
you to
do
bring
that.
that
I get excited
like,
when I see your videos. I'm like, oh
you know,
yes, let me settle in real quick. Like, oh,
right, exactly.
Joe was
I'm
on
like,
the
wait a minute.
screen.
I was doing what?
Yeah,
Wait, she put up a video.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Okay.
oh,
Yeah. Okay.
It's a side of myself that I don't like to bring out often because it has led to other issues in the past, but
Other issues
I
with
know.
who?
people who aren't in my life anymore.
Oh, see? They come in and they go out. They come in and they go out.
That's right. Yeah,
Right?
You will never be too much for the people that you're meant for.
Exactly.
that's right.
That's what you can do for me. Right? You got to make mama proud. All of y'all are like my kids. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make mama proud. Like, come on now. Right?
I wanted to share. Candy wrote. Let me go back. Candy wrote, Queen Auset once told me I already had a crown. Whenever I feel I have no confidence, I remind myself Queen Auset saw a crown. I'm going to start crying.
I know.
Queen Auset is such a powerful person. And then Rachel said, right, the more authentic you are to yourself, the better people you draw towards you.
It's true. Very true.
And then Truth to Power said, sparkle on your newest band, speak your truth. Highly intelligent young woman.
Thank you.
You got a lot of like, Havana, yes, in the comments. And I'm sorry, I haven't actually been that great looking at these because the conversation's so riveting. Yeah, a lot of people like, whoop, whoop for Havana.
Callie,
Yeah.
Sunflower. Oh my goodness. I can't chat though. I need to figure out StreamYard some more. It won't let me chat.
I think only Renee is the one who can chat because she's hosting it.
Okay.
But you know, I was wondering, like, maybe we should have kind of like a round robin where different channels, you know, host these, and we bring our decks with us, and then we just can do, you know, we can just talk, and so everyone gets a chance to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
like hosting. It's like, oh, my turn to host, and then
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, that'll be cool.
All right.
I like it.
Panda, what can I help you with right now?
You're already doing it. Just the sense of community, and every once in a while when you send me a message like, oh, I hope this helps your day. Like those type of things have been really huge, and they remind me that I'm not alone. Like where we live in a really rural area, we've gotten like threats and just dealt with a lot of stuff with racism, and it just has really helped like get us through this time. So I just appreciate you guys, and The panel was huge. That was a huge turning point for me that just gave me the strength to get through the rest of the stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
Where do you live,
All right.
Panda? Where do you? I didn't realize. What area do you live in?
I live in South Dakota. So
Okay.
here I'm in the capital, but even though we have probably like 13,000 people, we probably only have like 5 Black families with like probably about 10 people altogether.
Okay. I was just wondering too. Like, I know there's even been an uptick and I live in California, and it's just been kind of weird and
Yeah, tense.
yeah. Like,
Although, Panda, I have to tell you.
Him and I live in
Oh, no, you go.
neighboring cities, so
mm-hmm. Are you experiencing the same thing too, Havana, as far as like just kind of, I don't know, weird energy, I like to
yeah.
say.
The neighborhood I live in is already not that diverse, and yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't like to lose. I'll just say that.
Mhm.
And I'll just say
Renee,
Yeah.
that.
pull a card from your deck.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here's the. Well, I don't know. I have the deck. I have not looked at the questions.
Okay, I just pulled one. And this is the racism deck.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Everyone got their belt buckled? Okay. What does staying silent about racism mean to you? What does staying silent about racism mean to you? I'm going to type it in, and then I'm going to, I'll just let you guys think about it first. 1 second while I type it in.
Yeah, staying silent means the same thing for another what? How many decades, centuries more? No, we can't do that anymore. We did that. Now it's time to try something new. So for me, it just means more of the same. And I don't want more of the same. I hope that I leave this planet in a better way where we are at least making some real change and strides towards a better tomorrow for race relations.
Yeah, the silence, like I kind of just flip-flop back and forth, like between the silence meaning more safety in the sense of like speaking out and kind of like making myself a target. But then at the same time, it's the silence isn't an option anymore. It's just not. And we'll never get the justice that we need and deserve if we continue to be silent. So it's like working through that. And I don't know. I will tell you this though, like other people's silence and even people I thought were friends or old coworkers, like their silence is deafening.
That is the hard part for me, that I really struggle with, that I'm really angry about.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, you just gonna talk about this nonsense, but you're silent on everything that matters to me. Yeah. That was heartbreaking. So
For me, silence is compliance. You can't say that you disagree or are unhappy with something and not speak up against it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. People are more willing to complain about a bad coffee at Starbucks.
yeah. Been about human relations and about like human issues. Like, it's like, oh, I thought I was your friend. I thought I was like a sister to you, but only when it's convenient. And it's hard. And it doesn't matter who is in office. These are issues that will continue. And so we have to do something.
Silence for me means the loss of a life, a loss of a piece of the puzzle that could have been the future. Who knows if one of those who lost their lives was the person to find the cure for cancer, end hunger,
Mm.
or bring about world peace. Who knows? And no matter their circumstances, they deserved an opportunity to fulfill their destiny. So silence for me means that someone's destiny was not able to be fulfilled. I shared this with Renee a couple of days ago. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see my post. Uh, but a white man approached me on Thursday, and he apologized for the 400 years of suffering that we had to endure. I've been on this planet almost 60 years. I've never had an apology. I've never had a person really think about the impact and say something, take ownership of it and say something. What I've heard were my family, my people had nothing to do with it. That was so long ago. Can't we get past that? I've heard nothing but excuses. And this white man said, I'm sorry. And I'm still trying to process that. I should be joyful, elated, grateful, angry. I don't even know. I have no feeling about that. But I know that it means something. It meant something because it's moving me emotionally. I just can't put it into words. And I know the feeling of when you hear the stories about those who were stolen reaching the promised land, living their life thinking that's all they were going to have or get to. And then for years and decades, all that time goes by and they never ever think it's a possibility. And then they do. They reach freedom. And you don't even know what to do. You don't even know what to.
Do you want me to answer?
Sure.
So the question again is, what does staying silent about racism mean to you? And at this point in my journey, silence means giving up my humanity. It means willfully giving away parts of my heart and parts of my soul to just get along with the racist narrative, and I can't do it anymore. So when I think about it, it's just a price that's too high for me. But I have but I wonder why it's not that way for other white people. Because for me, it's about humanity. And yeah, humanity.
Yeah. Okay. You want to pull another card?
I appreciate
Oh,
you.
sorry.
I just want to say that. I appreciate you, Renee, and that because you're right. Not everyone cares. And there's people that can move through this time because of the color of their skin without confrontation. And they're choosing to. And so I appreciate that because it's a lot. Like, and I know that, I don't know. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys so much. So much. Thank you so much for being in conversation. It really means a great deal to me. What do you think, Queen Auset? Should we pull one more or?
Sure.
Oh wait, let me so
see if they're comments.
Yeah, so Candy said, silence is allowing a fellow mother to have to live in fear for her children, and I just can't live with that.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And then Tammy Pie said, it is really heartbreaking. I hope the whole world is on board with real change. And then Sunflower, Ikali?
Oh, yeah, that's Boside.
Yeah.
Sunflower.
She said sometimes not being silent causes more conflict.
Yeah.
And then Iridescent C said, I'm tired of letting a-holes dominate. I feel that way too sometimes. Yeah. A lot of people, when we talked about the silence, they said complicit, 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 being complicit. Silence is ignoring societal gut cancer. That's truth to power. Yeah, a lot of just being complicit. You know, if you don't say something, if you don't stand up, then you're really sending the message, this is okay with me. I agree with this.
Right. Right.
And then we're getting a lot of appreciation for being open and for sharing with everyone.
Okay. Yeah, we stop being afraid to have the conversation. Stop it. Right? What are you afraid of? We have to think about that. What are you afraid of? We all know what's going on. We all know the history. Most of it anyway. Right?
Especially now.
Of course, especially now. And we all know that you cannot change history. But you can make a conscious decision to say, okay, this is how I want the future to be. And you speak up. There are things, bystander syndrome, when you're standing by and you're watching it happen. I've been just recently, I've been subjected to tone policing, bystander syndrome. And what was the third one? I forget. But this came from a person who I believed, oh, yeah, the emotional labor that I
Mhm.
believed was a friend. I believed was a friend. But they used their ingrained privilege to really show me who they were. And it's not the first time it's happened to me. Many years ago, I had a friend. I mean, this was my best friend. We were thick as thieves until she used the N word in my presence.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
That's non-negotiable for me. That's non-negotiable. She had all kinds of excuses. That is non-negotiable. Recently, this person I thought was my friend, when they don't even, this is the thing. Sometimes the behavior is so ingrained that you don't even know it. Okay. And then a situation comes up that behavior comes to the forefront. And especially now when many of us are hyper aware,
Mm.
we catch it quickly. Like, before we would have been, because that's what I'm saying. With this person, I've always just blown it off, brush it off, right? But then what happens is my backyard gets filled with crap.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I
Mhm.
take it, and they become used to you doing that. And it is
Yep.
true. We train people how to treat us. We might think that we have no power, but actually you do. And I allowed this person for years to actually fill my backyard with crap. I did. I just blew it off. I made all sorts of, that's just the way he is. Oh, it's no big deal. He's a good time guy. Da 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 da. And a few weeks ago, I mean, I had it here, and I made no qualms about cutting it off. Like people came to me like, oh, well, maybe some time will pass and you reconcile. And I said, no, you see, this is the thing with me. It takes a lot. But when I've made up my mind to cut it off, I'm done. I'm finished. There is no going back.
And I've realized there's a lot of places that I've been allowing things from like jokes to demeaning things. I mean, that people classify as small things, but when you add it all up, it's colonialism. And no, you can't touch my hair. No, we're not going to make black jokes. You know what I mean? No, my hair's not unprofessional. I mean, just things that I've let add up. And I finally realized, like, I'm oppressing myself. Like, I'm doing their job for them, allowing all this stuff and condoning it. And then as soon as you say something, what it does is they turn around and they're like, oh, you're that angry black woman, you're that loud, you're taking up space, you're doing too much. And it just, no, we're done with it. I'm done with it. Like,
Yeah.
Get out of and I say, so what? Yes, I am angry. You're lucky that I'm only just angry.
Yeah. Where I'm from.
Right?
Yeah. So that's where we've been since the summit. For me, it's been challenging, to say the least.
It is. But you know what? Yeah. Yes, since the summit, and we all know some of the fallout from the summit. I mean, we needed that too, right?
Yeah, that's true. I grew from that as well, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I'm glad for it. I'm still so grateful for that experience.
Yeah. Just to clear up some things, to actually rip off the Band-Aid. You know, all of us, we get caught up in this idea of us being on YouTube and the numbers and the likes and the deck walkthroughs and all of that. But at the end of the day, you're still a human being with feelings. And of course, you want to be liked by everybody. But if you're realistic, we made a choice to be on YouTube. So that means that we put ourselves in the line of fire, so to speak, right? But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you get to disrespect me. Number one, that doesn't mean that you're entitled to anything that I do. You really don't. Like, you have a choice. You can bypass me. But if you stop at my little square footage of this planet, you better come correct. I'm open to your opinions. I'm open to your thoughts, but you don't get to disrespect me, especially in my house. You don't get to do that. And then call yourself hiding out behind this little screen. But since the summit, you know, there have been some, what are those, like gnats, little gnats, you know? And sometimes it's just that one, you know, that little, like, where did you come from? Of all the places to be, you come to Oyas, girl? Like, seriously?
There was actually a comment on the summit, and I tried to go back and I could not get there because somebody commented something about like, when are we going to be like you're basically saying like you're asking too much, like when are we going to stop asking for perfectionism? And I was just like, I could not get back to that comment. I wanted so badly to get back there, but there were so many. But just like asking for equality is now like demanding perfectionism, and like that's just too much. Like, oh my goodness, like, are you kidding me?
Right. And that's why I say, for me, if you listen to one of my videos, I don't want to be equal. I don't want to be equal to oppression, subjugation, microaggression, hatred, racism. What? I don't want to be equal to that. I already know that I am above that. And if you are going to engage me, you are going to need to level up to that. I am not going to go toe to toe with you and explain why I feel I deserve to be treated well. We're not going to, that's not a discussion I'm going to have with you. And I think that's where people get it wrong. Like, we have to ask, like you said, please be kind to me. Please treat me equally. You know, I have a bit more melanin in my skin. I deserve to be equal. I deserve to be treated. You can't treat me as a human being, then guess what? You get nothing from me. And we have to be in that place and be okay with that too. And if that means that your viewership goes down, so what? You get a thumbs down, so what? You have to think about what it is. Each and every one of us who has a YouTube channel, you have a responsibility to impart uplifting, healing, informative information, whether you realize it or not. You're not getting paid for it. I mean, maybe some bigger I don't know. But that should be at the forefront of your mind. Why are you doing this? I started my channel because I don't do walkthroughs like everybody else do walkthroughs. Like, oh, that's such a pretty picture, and oh, look at that, and oh my gosh, look at the cardstock, and oh my gosh, it's a 2-part box. And I'm sorry, I don't do that. I want to know, like, where did this person get their inspiration from? Where did they get their ideas from? Right? I'm looking into the mind of the creator. I'm looking into the mind of another human being. And by me looking into the mind of another human being, believe it or not, I can tell how that human being feels about the world around them. And so what I do, I show you basically how you're thought of, no matter who you are. So if I'm looking at a deck that's supposedly not inclusive, I want you to see you're spending your $30 on a deck that was created by somebody who doesn't see you as a person of worth or value to include you in it. That's what I do. Your money, and I'm taking it back to that, your money is your power. Your dollars. Because if we don't buy it, they don't have anything to sell. They go out of business. So we don't have to rant and rave, and we don't have to march up and down the streets. We don't have to, especially for what we do on this. That money, that's your power. So you bring forth the truth, what you see, what you would like to see. If car stock is important to you, then make it so. We know this as a community. So I'm going back to the summit, right? When the whole community was in an uproar about glossy card stock and da-da-da-da-da. Didn't the publishing houses, what did they do? They changed it, right? Llewellyn had crappy big boxes. What did Llewellyn do? They come up with fancy boxes, crappy cardstock. So don't tell me that changes cannot be made.
That's right.
They can. So yes, I would like to be seen as a person of value and of worth. You don't want to include me in your deck, fine. But then now I have a choice.
Yep.
And you might want to think about that. And this is not enclosed in creative license. Do what you're going to do. But I'm telling you, as one human being to another, you're, especially as an artist, and I'm an artist as well. My vision, what I do as an artist, is it reflects my world around me.
And that's what I said. I said, whose world isn't diverse? Like, where are you living that it's not diverse?
But
where you can say that it doesn't reflect your life.
In this day and age
Panda?
of social media, there's no reason that you can't be exposed to some level of diversity, even if you don't have it personally within your life and the community around you.
Unless it's willful.
The world.
Unless it's
Yeah.
willful.
True.
Willfully, I mean, you'd have to go to great lengths to cut out any diversity in your news, in your social media, television, movies. But I know that there are white people. I mean, I know there are white people who do that.
And that's so unfortunate.
It is. It's, again, it goes back to humanity. It's their loss, but they're so lost, they don't even see that. They can't even see it, but it's willful.
Yeah. And then we're left with, well, what do we do with that?
Right. What do we do with that?
Black and brown people, like, what do we do with that? You're
Exactly.
so willful to not seeing. Do I leave you alone and just let you be in your ignorance, or do I go, what do I do with this as a citizen?
Well, they're dangerous. So,
you know?
They're dangerous. So
Yeah,
leaving them be, like, if we could
that's
move
so
them
true.
onto another planet, but they're dangerous to,
For real.
people of color particularly. So we can't let them be.
Well, and I just heard that, and some people are never change, but I just had someone, they were talking about how, like, those type of people, like, the people that we can affect change in, because it has to come then from someone where they can actually hear them. Like, that person that is, resistant to change, they're not going to hear me as a Black woman that's a stranger to them. But if someone in their family or someone that they look up to, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then that's where it goes to that each individual person having to go to their community and do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and have those conversations that really are terrible. And
Yeah.
with there's racist uncles and aunts and cousins and even your mom or your dad or your grandparents. And yeah, keep having them.
Right. And that goes to the question about silence. You have, being silent is a choice.
Right.
You want to pull us another card, Renee?
Sure.
And so I see someone commented and they said American racism isn't changing in our lifetime. And to that, I like, it's changing just in the fact that like we're all here together today. It's changing on the level that I just took the course Meeting the Goddess Within, that's put on by Dr. Giovanni Washington, who created the Black Goddess Oracle. And there was a lot of white women in that. It wasn't just us. I mean, there was people of all walks of life, and we sat down and we held space for each other, and we talked and understood and knew that there was work to do for all of us. And I mean, it is changing. And it may not change on the grand scale. I don't think that it will, but it doesn't mean that we can stop working for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we have 400 some years to heal and to grow from. So even if it's not going to change in our lifetime, we can't be silent about it.
Right.
I can understand sentiments like that, but that also is, you're allowing yourself to put yourself in a position of being handicapped, being complicit, and that echoes silence. Like, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. Well, not in our life, then whose? If you're not going to put down the work to make it happen in somebody else's lifetime, what's the point?
Right. We have to try. I said this yesterday. I feel like, Ms. Rona came to visit us to say, y'all have been busy. You've been distracted with your 9 to 5 and your 2.5 and this, that, and the third. So guess what? Mama Rona is in town now, slowing everybody down. And you see who's been resistant to it, right? But
yikes.
To the other end of it, though, Ms. Rona has caused many of us to actually slow down and sit with ourselves and our families, and really get to know ourselves and our close families and our close communities. People are getting divorced left and right. People are upset because they had to stay home and homeschool their kids. So you've been sending your kids to school to be raised. You're supposed to be the first teacher of your children.
It was a struggle,
right?
Though. Yeah.
I know it's a struggle, right? We all had this dream. Oh, we want to work from home. And now you are. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Where's the exit?
Yeah.
Right? So
this next card goes really well with what we were just talking about. So it says, and I wrote it in the chat, what's one thing you think I can do to address racism at my work? And I was thinking that instead of work, we could say like in our community, or we could say work, whatever we want to do. But, I think we're kind of like obviously discussions, right?
Right. I would like to hear from, I can't see the comments, but I would like to hear from those who are watching.
Yeah, we got some good comments.
So I'm going to read some comments and then if they, answer your question. Tammy Pie said, it's staggering ignorance, people willfully not listening to common sense. And then Truth to Power said, the brothers got y'all back too. And then
we'll take it.
Azrael Fresnedo had a question. And I saw this question before and I didn't know if we wanted to anyway, I'll just let you guys decide. What are your thoughts about people from your own racial, ethnic background going behind your community's back to be the teacher's pet, so to speak? So that's like a big question.
Yeah, I'll just quickly answer that. I get very annoyed, and then I try to get compassionate and try to have some patience for them too, because they're That's my quick and fast and dirty answer to that. I get annoyed. I may say some cuss words that you guys will not hear. I get really annoyed because I'm like, where have you been? And then I get
Right.
compassionate. The same with how I give compassion to other folks who may not just get it. So it doesn't matter if you're brown, whatever color you are. If you don't get it, you don't get it. So I have to work on my response to that.
It's complicated. I can understand why people do that. I can understand why people feel like they need to hold a position and be seen in a respectful eye, especially if they're working in an environment where there's not a lot of diversity. But I think ultimately, people need to recognize that racism is not about color. It is tied to economy.
Right.
And
Economic.
it kind of is a callback to the first question about what's an unhealthy relationship with money. If your self-worth is tied up in your value economically, then I think people will have a hard time recognizing why and how silence, going back or trying to be the teacher's pet, or just ignoring it is damaging. I think it ties into Rona. It's wreaked havoc on the American economy. And it's not a coincidence that there has been so much outrage and frustration racially.
Right.
So when I see those kind of people that are doing that, like, I do understand that they're trying to be successful, they're looking out for themselves, but also overall, like, they're not going to help the people be successful. They're not going to help us move forward. But then I kind of feel sorry for those people because colonialism is only going to let you get so far. Like, if we don't stand up together, I mean, you're going to run up against that wall anyways, you know? You're just going to get there first, I guess.
Yeah.
So let me read some more of the comments. Tammy Pie said, I think it is. I think they were referring to the change. It's just too slow and too small. Things are changing. And then Tammy Pie said, that's what being an ally is all about. We have to talk to people in our lives and make them understand. And Candy said, we have to put down the first stepping stones to ever cross the river.
That's right.
And then she said, and there's been decades of stepping stones gone down already. I'm so thankful for everybody here. I see the stones more clearly now. Tammy Pie said, I think it's important to teach our children to be aware and to not be assholes.
That's right.
And then Truth to Power said, sometimes I feel I have spent enough time believing in Santa Claus or that America will one day live up to its ideals. And then the Moon Chariot said, you nailed it, Havana. And then Iridescent C, racism is taught. It can be untaught too. It's a blame game. Kids are taught by racist parents to blame the others for the problems in the world. And then Cleo 76 said, I feel that the more I learn and work on myself, the better equipped I am to speak up more effectively. I've been in positions before when I've spoken up, but have missed the mark.
That's right.
And then the Moon Chariot said, gosh, my glasses are making me feel blind. Exactly. We are not born racist.
I'm loving the conversation in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Truth to Power said something else. I missed it. As a Black Studies major, I think of James Baldwin or W.E.B. Du Bois, who left to Ghana and renounced his U.S. citizenship.
I feel that way sometimes, if I'm to be true.
Well, Kim, you said something about you're interested in like warm, tropical. Where are you going?
I am definitely interested in warm tropical area. Like, yeah, because California is dry and hot.
Right, and the drought is get more and more.
No, but seriously, just being able to go out and maybe experience life abroad for a bit, to see I've never lived abroad or really even visited anywhere beyond Mexico. It would be nice to be able to go somewhere and be able to have a different vantage point of America. And maybe that can help inform me and help myself and my people better. Because right now, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of animosity, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of stuff I need to work on. And I don't know if I can do it here right now in the States.
I think it's amazing to get outside of the United States, to be able to look at the United States in a different way. It's so, so helpful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the perspective I do if I hadn't lived in another country, to then look back, you know, to like see the international news that's not put through an American filter is such a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what did you do to the news? You know, my mind was like, this isn't the news. They've switched it. And it was because it was from that country's perspective.
Yeah.
Totally, my mind was like,
right? And I've heard of that and I long for that.
Yeah.
I need that for just a time.
It's great. And it's really great for kids. Like, so great for
9-year-olds.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And that class that I took, like a lot of the other Black women are planning like huge moves, like relocating to London, to Australia. And it just like, I had to really sit down and like think about it. Like when I was young and like growing up, everything that they give you and teach you in school and in life and through the media is of that American dream, people escaping to America.
Right.
And I never thought that I would be trying to get the hell out of here. And I'm trying to take my kids and my family and like move up out of here. And I just never like being able to come to terms with that is a lie. That American dream, it's not real. It's not real. And so being able to like, it's
okay. So the American dream for a lot of people may not be real. For my parents, it was. My parents grew up very poor with nothing in Jamaica. And they knew at the time that they wanted to come to this country. America was the, place paved with gold. And my parents sold everything and slept on the floor, 2-room house in Jamaica. They sold everything to have that money to book passage, to take a boat, to go to England. Because at that time, we couldn't come directly to the United States.
I wonder.
Went to England. Right, not at that time. In England, while there, they had me and my 2 sisters. So I'm a British citizen. I have a green card, have a passport. Even though I still served in the United States Army, I'm not a U.S. citizen. And my parents never, ever, ever let the dream of coming to America die. They lived in a tenement in the UK. They took side jobs. At that time, daycare, what you did, you took your children to someone who kept your child for the week, and then at the weekends, you pick them up. And my father, one day, I guess you could say, had a premonition, because when my parents would pick me up, I was always sickly. I had a hard time walking. I wasn't walking, I was always sickly. And my mother said that I would eat for the 2 days that they had me. I was always hungry, always sickly, always had a runny nose. And one day my father had an inkling to just pop in on the babysitter. This was in December. And when he got there, I was sitting in a dirty nappy in a high chair in front of an open window. And that's when my parents decided we're selling every damn thing. We got to get to America.
Mm.
Now, there's a series on Amazon Prime now about Caribbean people being in the UK. And let me tell you, the UK, you think you have racism here in America, it's just as bad in the UK. All right? Don't, seriously, okay? Um,
Hmm.
the Mangrove Nine and different places in the UK and such. But in order to come to America, my parents had to be sponsored.
Mm.
Okay, you weren't just allowed to come in. You had to be sponsored. My father had befriended a white man, a Jewish man, who vouched for my parents. And we arrived on the Queen Mary. I came here on a boat and I've worn combat boots, right? The things that kids get teased about in school. My son knows this. And built a house. We never lived in an apartment. After we left the UK, we never lived in an apartment. They had a small house in Corona, then another house in Far Rockaway. And as the years passed, they just became more influential. Both of my parents were degreed, heavily degreed. My father had his own business. All of us, there were 6 children. We all went to private school. Every year we had vacations. Like I would go to Jamaica for 2 to 3 months. So the American dream was a real thing, to the point where my parents saved their money and built their mansion in Jamaica. Now, the American dream wasn't for them to come here and stay here and die. It was for them to come here, do what they needed to do, grow and prosper so they can go back home.
That's interesting.
It's good to hear, actually.
That's so beautiful.
It's a matter of
So,
perspective.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I just apply that like in the sense of like Breonna Taylor and like justice and liberty for all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. But my parents dealt with racism. We've been dealing with racism. In the UK, they used to have this group called the Teddy Boys. And one of them, my father had his elbow out the window, came by and slashed him on his arm.
Oh.
My parents dealt with a lot of racism. One of the things I could say, I think because they knew what they were dealing with, my parents made a decision for us not to move to the South, even though it would have
Good.
been cheaper to raise 6
Yeah.
children.
Mm.
See?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that. They knew that they were going to be dealing with racism, but they didn't want to be dealing with it like that 24/7 for the most part. That was just too much.
Yeah.
Right? And I grew up in an affluent neighborhood and all of that. And even though I was aware of racism when I was growing up, I was not subjected to it until I had a little bit of it in the military, a little bit of it. I was stationed, my first permanent duty. I had a roommate, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and she's watching me. She's looking at me. She's staring at me. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm waiting for your tail to grow." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "I heard that Black people grow tails after midnight, so I'm waiting for your tail to grow."
What?
It wasn't until I actually became like an adult that I've been on that receiving end of racism. I had a man, I'm walking in the snow. I had a shopping cart. I got stuck. And this man in a red truck, he says, "Get out of the road, you F and N." And I was like, "What? What is that?" Who's that? And then he said it again.
Mm.
And me, not even thinking, I walked right up to his truck in his face and said, "What did you say?" I think we were both stunned, like, what? And that's me in my late 20s, realizing like, oh, this racism thing, this is real. You know? And like I said, you know, for me, I became it's just more heightened now that I have a son,
Yeah.
right? Now you become more aware. Now you really start to see the microaggression. You start to see the things, you know, and that leads me to one of the questions I had here is like, you know, what's more important in a person, their intention or their action? Because we can have good intentions. We do. Everyone who's listening, you have good intentions. But if you don't take action, it means nothing. And all it could mean is just having one conversation, because that's all you have to do. You don't need to get on a platform in a room full of people and speak. Have that one conversation so that that person has information and they can speak to someone else and they can go and speak to someone else. You know, create that virus. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what you want to do.
Right.
Right? So intention is great. I intended to do that. I was going to do that. Take action, you know?
Right.
So, Renee,
Yeah.
we've been on for how long?
2 hours and 26 minutes.
Boy, we're long-winded. I think you think we should wrap up now?
I think we should wrap up.
I got 3 bathroom breaks. 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess some people are ready to go. I would love to continue, you know, to do this like once a month. Like, I don't know, we should come up with a title for it, because I know Kim has said like real talk. Right?
Yeah, that's great.
But I think real talk is actually used by somebody or something.
Oh.
Right? We have to see. I don't want to,
We'll come up
you know,
with
take anybody.
title.
Yes. Right.
Brainstorm.
Like you said, you know, everyone host, put it on your channel.
Yeah,
do
I
it.
think it would be fun to rotate, you know, and also to invite other people, you know, like
exactly. I'd love to hear
people
other
come in
people.
and
I'd
out.
love to hear
Yeah,
other voices. Right? Yeah. Okay. Before we go, though, I'm going to send out a message. We are having a summit reunion. The summit reunion,
Oh, yeah.
December 20th. December 20th.
Okay.
So, I know, right? It's a Sunday. I'm going to put that message out. December 20th. I don't think we've come with a time yet. Probably about the same time.
Yeah.
We're going to see how many summit members return. I've already
somebody said real talk in the tarot world. Somebody in the chat said real talk in the tarot world.
Really?
Like
and we didn't even talk we didn't even talk tarot.
I know.
See that?
A little bit. Yeah.
But it's kind of like what I had said yesterday. All of us as readers for other people, if you don't work on that human connection, then how can you be a reader for another person? Right? And this is all part of our journey. You know, that catchphrase shadow work. This is the stuff that we have to bring up to the surface to look at. Right?
Yeah.
And shed light on
shadow work.
Yeah.
This is like shadow work, right? This is what I'm saying, right? So the reason why I wanted to do this publicly, because I'm that type of person, okay? Like, stop with the bullshit.
And live.
Yes. I said this, right? We put down our pretty spreads and we take photos. You know, we show our journals and everything. Who you think you're fooling, sis? Like, seriously.
It don't matter until
Right. You know,
That's right.
who you think you're fooling? Because you could put down those cards and be like, I said this yesterday. Oh, you know, 10 of Swords. You know, oh, stabbed in the back. I've come to the end of the journey and all of that stuff. And the wheel is turning in my favor and I'm moving forward. You can do all of that, preach all of that, right? But when I ask you, what is the greatest lesson I taught you? Pull a card on that.
That's the greatest lesson
Right?
you've taught me. I'm just gonna see because I don't.
Here's another one. Oh, go ahead, Kim. Kim's pulling a card. What is the greatest lesson? Go ahead.
This is how you know we all have our decks here.
I know, right? Just so you know.
Okay.
We're all full of cards. Yeah.
Y'all can go ahead.
This is fun.
I don't have my tarot. I have When Life Gives You Mangoes with Norman right now.
That'll be direct and to the point.
Yeah.
I got you guys. I got the tower.
Really?
Yes.
That's what we did.
Yes.
Queen Auset loves the tower.
Actually, let me go.
Yes. Yes.
I got
Good.
Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. Yes.
Oh, I got the lovers.
Oh, I love it.
All about choice.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Burn that shit down. That's the tower.
Yeah.
Burn it down. Let it go. You know what? Here's a
We're watching
question.
it burn.
What's the motto? Here's my card. What's the motto for your life?
Oh, what's the motto for your life? Is
Yeah,
yours burn
my
that shit down?
Yes,
Yes,
That's our motto. That's our new show's motto. Burn that shit down.
That's the
Right.
motto. That's right. Yep.
This is my card
Yep.
for what Queen Auset has taught me.
Oh, I love that. 8 of
Yes.
Wands.
8 of
Yes.
Wands.
Candy got
See?
7 of Cups.
All right.
Ooh, options. We got our options.
Yes. Options. That's right. Use your imagination. Queen of Swords. What do you say, Kim, for that Queen of Swords?
Oh my goodness! All of this wonderful Queen of Swords energy here today, with sharing all this insight, wisdom, and knowledge, and not afraid. That's how we're showing up with the Queen of Swords here. More
Yeah.
to come with that Queen of Swords energy.
Exactly. Anybody else pull a card?
I pulled.
Oh, but I put in the chat, what is the motto for your life? And then in quotes, I have, burn that shit down, Queen Auset's motto.
Yes, that's it.
Let me pull a card for the motto. Just a second.
And I like that Sparkle Divine got the eight of Wands too. That's
That was for the greatest lesson, but
Oh,
like,
10 of
wow.
Wands. 10 of Wands.
But you're gonna get our motto. Okay.
this is my motto.
There you go.
That's good.
So then Rachel said, right, this kind of discussion should be of great interest to the tarot community since racism is shadow work and shadow work is trendy. But when it comes down to it, too many don't show up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Azrael said, what have you taught me? Independence. Artemis. Yeah, Artemis. So I just want to say how grateful I am to everyone here. I really, really deeply appreciate you. And I have loved this conversation. And I can't wait to see all of the continuing conversations, because this really is how human beings change, is by having conversations. And if you go to that, they have a YouTube channel, the Skin Deep company has a channel. The conversations are so riveting, and you kind of fall in love with some of the couples when they talk to you, you want to know, like, are there any more? Like, can you say anything else? And it's just really, it gives me hope. It has instilled a new hope just watching these people talk, because that is how we change, is talking.
Exactly.
So thank you so much.
Renee, do you have
Yeah.
your spread? Can you reach it? Can you access it?
Yes, I have to look at my phone. Yeah, I forgot I did a spread, but it was Queen Auset.
We're going to leave you guys with a spread, and I'm going to leave you with a final question, okay? And when we meet again, or I'm hoping, let's try to do this once a month, you know? Different people, I think. Yeah, okay. So the question before you give the spread, Renee, the question I'm going to leave you guys with comes from the healing.
Okay.
The healing deck.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, in what way can our connection be an example to others?
Oh. Oops. That's a great question.
Okay.
In what way can our connection be an example to others?
Yeah.
Oh, Havana's having connection. Okay, so that was the last question.
Yes.
And that's the question that Queen Auset is leaving everyone with.
Yes.
The ponder.
But you have a spread, Renee, that you're leaving everybody with.
Okay, so the spread is oriented north, east, south, and west. So beginning in the north, how can I ground my beliefs about inclusivity in practical action? How can I ground my beliefs about inclusivity in practical action? So that's the north. And then we move to the east. How can I inspire others to speak their truth? So that's the east. How can I inspire others to speak their truth? Then we move to the south. How can I illuminate the places that make me uncomfortable? How can I illuminate the places that make me uncomfortable? And then we come to west. And the question is, how can I use compassion for my past mistakes to invite everyone to the table? So the last one is, how can I use compassion for my past mistakes to invite everyone to the table? Maybe I'll put these. I actually don't know if you go back to this, if you can look at the comments or not. I was thinking I'll just put them in the
description.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would
put them in the
love to
description.
work with the spread later, because this is a tangible way for us readers to be able to start to do that work. I love the questions. Did you come up, Renee?
Yeah, Queen Auset said, "Hey Renee, come up with a spread."
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh,
Right?
I can't wait to play with it.
So I can send, Queen Auset has it, so I'll send it to you, Panda, and Queen Auset, you can send it to them. Havana, I just shared a spread that I made for us to just kind of think about after the conversation. So you'll get that in an email. I'm also going to try to put it in the description of this video.
Okay, cool.
But, who knows if that'll happen.
Yay.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Any additional comments, Renee, that we should follow up with?
Let's see. Let's see. Moon Chariot said, "Glad I caught the end of this live. I'm going to go back and watch from the beginning. Thanks so much." And then
the Moon Chariot.
Face your fears. I think he was, in what ways can our connection be an example to others? And Truth to Power said, face your fears. So again, that's like doing shadow work, like, do your work. And a lot of thank you. Oh, and then the Moon Chariot said it's time for change, time to cut through the bullshit. What choices will we make? Sorry, I'm having trouble reading. What choices will we make? What will our motto be? Let's move in a new direction.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
And then a lot of thank yous.
Well,
Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful
Thank you
rest
so
of the day.
much.
And I can't wait
Thank
for us to
you.
continue more conversations.
I know.
Absolutely.
This has
Okay,
been great.
bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.